Sai Ram, I remember a funny Indian advertisement for a waterproofing product. There is an old elderly father who is on his deathbed, and there are his 3 or 4 sons who are sitting around him and grieving. One of the sons is more unhappy than the others, not because the father is dying, but because the father has left behind a very small amount of money in his name in his will. And therefore, what he does is takes that will, goes to his father, shakes him up literally, and makes him add some more zeros to the number that has been assigned to him. And not satisfied with just 1 or 2 zeros, he makes him add a couple more zeros till he feels that he has sufficient millions to sustain him and all his desires. And then, though the father is about to die and even dies, this son doesn't feel sad because he is so happy. He has got all those zeros that mean so much. And with jubilation, as he is walking out of this room, from the top, a leaking pipe drops a water drop onto this paper, onto the one that is preceding all the zeros that he had got his father to write. And as that one gets rubbed off, this son realizes that he is left with nothing. Of course, the advertisement goes saying, therefore ensure that your homes are leak free. While I smiled at this advertisement, I also was lost in deep introspection, because this is the situation in all our lives. We are so busy adding zeros to our bank account that we forget the importance and even the existence of that one which gives meaning to all these zeros in the bank account. As I sit here wearing this beautiful dress from the country of Benin in Africa, let me tell you a story from Africa that highlights this aspect and teaches us what is the importance and significance of that one in life, and it inspires us to follow that one. This is the story of a gentleman from Africa, Mr. Victor Kanu. Mr. Victor Krishna Kanu was born in the West African country of Sierra Leone, and he had a very impressive academic record. He was at the zenith or peak of his career as the High Commissioner of Sierra Leone, stationed in London, the United Kingdom. That was when he got to know of Swami through an amazing dream. In the dream, he traveled with the angels across the oceans, across the skies, and came to a strange place which itself had angels adorning many arches. And there he saw a very kind being. I will not go into the details of that story, but many years later, when he actually flew across the skies and the oceans to land in India and travel to Puttaparthi, he saw the same scenes there, what he had seen in his dream, and he knew that he had reached his master, his Lord, Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. However, the greatest test of his life, the challenge in his life, came in 1989, the July of 1989, when he got an interview with Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. He and his wife were there, and Swami looked at him and said, I want you to go to Zambia and spread my love, continue my mission of love over there. Now, Zambia is a country that comes to the southeast of the continent of Africa, and Mr. Victor Krishna Kanu had just been there for about 3 weeks along with his wife, conducting some EHV courses. EHV stands for Education in Human Values. He nodded in agreement to whatever Swami said, but what did Swami want him to do? And then Swami gave the details. Swami said, I want you to go to Zambia and start a Sathya Sai School there. Oh, start a school in a country where he had no connections, no contacts, few people maybe he knew, and no context as well. But he nodded. That was when his wife, Mrs. Genevieve, whom Mr. Krishna Kanu says is the braver of the two, asked Swami directly, Swami, how do we get resources? How do we get the money to do all this? And Swami simply said, sell your house in London and go there. If necessary, borrow from the bank as well. Wow. At this point in time, Mr. Kanu was reminded of a story from the New Testament of the Bible. He was a devout Christian and he recollected how a rich young man comes to Lord Jesus and asks him what he should do to achieve the highest. That is when Jesus tells him that he should follow the commandments. The young man says, I am following the commandments. What more should I do? Then Jesus tells him, give away all your wealth to the poor. Come and follow me. Now the man hesitates. He has great wealth, but he also has great attachment to that wealth, and he walks away from Jesus, not giving up the wealth that Jesus had told him to give up. And that is why Jesus says that it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go through the gates of heaven. A very similar incident is also recorded in the Sathya Sai Satcharitra. I won't go into the details of that incident because it is presented at this link above. Do go and watch it to see how a rich man comes wanting Brahma Vidya or the ultimate, the Brahma Gyan, the ultimate wisdom from Shirdi Baba, and Shirdi Baba's response to him and the message to him. It will give us a better idea about what is the one that we have to pay attention to and what is the zeros that we should give up. And this episode, Mr. Kanu remembered there in the interview room, and he decided not to make that mistake. He said, yes, Swami, we will do it. And he felt extremely happy and blessed, for he was convinced that this was a test, a sign of grace from Swami. Dear brothers and sisters, we often think that, oh, we missed seeing Swami, we didn't get a chance to touch him, we didn't get an interview with him. An interview with Swami is not always pleasurable in the worldly sense. We always think of the interview because we think we want to get this, we want to ask this from Swami, we want to gain this from Swami. And here is Swami telling him to give up everything that he has earned so far and follow his words. Credit to Mr. Victor Krishna Kanu and his wife Miss Genevieve that they decided to follow Swami in spirit and the letter. They went back to London and sold everything. They gave up their savings, their investments, their insurance, they sold the house, they sold the cars, and as Mr. Kanu says, they sold even the pots and pans, the carpets, the furniture, the bedding, everything completely wrapped up. And in the December of 1989, they were on their way to Zambia with the money that they had got and with the hopes and aspirations to start a Sathya Sai School with the abundance of blessings from Swami. They reached Zambia and then took some time to find their bearings. But once that was done, they were seriously engaged in this act of building the Sathya Sai School in Zambia. Now they had two options. One, they could build it near the capital city of Lusaka, where there were all the amenities available, all the facilities available, and it would be definitely the easier option. Because the other option was to build it at a place called Ndola, which was far away, which was remote, which was in the rural hinterland of Zambia. So they did not know. Their things would be cheaper, of course, but nothing would be available almost. They would have to travel to Lusaka to get everything. Swami told them to build it where there is a need. Swami says, if you need me, you deserve me. Swami does not look at facilities and resources. Swami looks at where there is a need. That is why, dear brothers and sisters, the best way to get Swami is to need Swami. To tell Swami that, Swami, you are not a want in my life. You are not something that I desire. You are a need in my life, Swami. Just like air, just like food, just like water. I need you, Swami. Without you, I cannot stay. See the speed with which he responds. Here too, the need was greater at Endola in the rural parts, and Swami advised the couple to build the school over there. And so in the June of 1990, the construction of the school began. There were no good construction companies, and even if they were ready to come there and build, it would be very expensive. So Mr. Kanu himself became the engineer, the architect, and he built the school with the help of labor from the local people. These were the people who would actually be employed by the big companies to make many constructions, and they would hardly be paid anything because all the managers and the engineers and the top people would take in the money, right? But here, Mr. Kanu ensured that he paid all of them very well, so much so that they came working with great energy, gusto, and put in all their heart, soul, blood, sweat, toil, everything into making and building this beautiful school, which was inaugurated in 1991. As the doors of the school were thrown open, welcoming children, they had a lot of students coming to enlist for the primary school. But then the problem, as Mr. Kanu says, they faced was that there were no secondary school students. Why? To join secondary school in Zambia and many parts of Africa, you need to clear a public examination after your primary schooling. And once you finish that, all those who get good grades and good ranks choose to go into established higher secondary schools. None of the students who were bright or who had done well in the primary school public examinations were ready to risk everything and join a new school which had just opened. And once again, more than the students for whom the school had a need, Swami guided them to pick the students for whom the school was necessary. And thus, all the dropouts, all the failures, these were the children who were picked up for the secondary school by Mr. Kanu. Everybody was shocked. Everybody from the top government officials to the small villagers thought that these people are crazy. How can a school establish a reputation if you take in the starting itself all the failures? Dikku leni vadiki devude dikku. For those that have no refuge, Swami alone, God alone is the refuge. That is what Swami proved again. And he proved it through his instruments, Mr. Victor Kanu and Miss Genevieve, as they worked on with all love on these dropouts and failures. And dear brothers and sisters, few years down the line, when the public examination in 9th grade was held, these very students who were termed as failures by the society and the world were touched by God's love, inspired by God's love, and they became the toppers. Such was the astounding results they brought in that the government of Zambia called the Sathya Sai School of Zambia as the Miracle School of Zambia. The Miracle School, the Sathya Sai School of Zambia, went on to win many certifications, accreditations, honors and prizes and so many things, recognition from across the globe. In 2011, a few months after Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba left his physical frame, Mr. Victor Krishna Kanu too passed on. But even to this day, as per my latest information, the Miracle School in Zambia continues to run as of 2024. It is being handled by the energetic and wise Mrs. Genevieve. Though, of course, it would be wonderful if there are younger hands and younger hearts to join her in growing the school into the magnificent beacon of hope and education that it has been for the past several decades. But well, that is besides the point. The point I want to make is, in 1989, Swami told Mr. Kanu to give up everything that he had earned. And it is not as if when he followed Swami, when he obeyed Swami's teachings, after a few days, months or years, he became very wealthy. No, it didn't happen. But then, what is the one that he earned? He earned great happiness. That peace of mind, that contentment that no amount of riches can buy, no amount of power can get you, no amount of influence can get it, because nakar mana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike amrutatva manushu. As Swami would say, neither your power nor your influence nor your money will get you this immortality. The only thing that will get it to you is sacrifice. Sacrifice the lower ones to achieve the higher ones. And so when Mr. Victor Kanu was interviewed multiple times later, he had absolutely no regrets and only celebration and joy that he got this opportunity to give up something as small as wealth to achieve the greatest wealth of God's love. Dear brothers and sisters, why do we do anything that we do? Just ask yourself why every time we get a desire to do something. Why do I want to study hard so that I get good marks? Why do I want good marks so that I get a good resume? Why do I want a good resume so that I get a good job? Why do I want to get a good job so that I can get more money? Why do I want more money so that I can get a comfortable life? Why do I want a comfortable life? Because then I think I will be happy. Why you want to be happy? Why do I want to be happy? Why do we all want to be happy? Because it's our nature to be happy and we are seeking that always. The reason why we do anything that we do, the reason why we think anything we think, the reason why we speak anything we speak is because we think that in some way that is going to make us happy. Why don't we ask for happiness itself? As Swami says, happiness is union with God. This happiness or this Swami is the one that gives meaning to all the zeros in our bank balance. Let us ensure that all the zeros that we have in our bank balance follows this one, because otherwise they become meaningless, just as that sun in that Indian advertisement discovered. Dear Swami, may we realize that it is not a sacrifice when we give up anything for you, because you are more valuable than anything in this universe, and therefore it is always an investment when we are told to give up something to get you. Dear Swami, may we offer our all the zeros that we have in our life. May all the zeros follow you, the one which gives meaning to them, which gives meaning to our life, which fills joy and peace in our heart. May the love that we have in our heart towards you keep growing stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.